Can you gain weight, muscle mass on a high sugar, low fat, low protein diet? Wow. So on this channel I promote I help people lose weight and regain their health, and this is through a vegan high sugar or sugar diet. So high sugar, low fat, low protein lifestyle. So it's not dieting, not a fad diet to lose weight. It's sustainable long-term weight loss. And this is because for longevity and to be the healthiest for most people, you need to lose weight. So most people need to lose weight and change their lifestyle from the standard American or standard Western lifestyle, which is essentially sedentary. You don't do anything, and you eat lots of fat and lots of protein, and then you get really big, and then you want to lose weight, and you lose weight by following the meal plans that I recommend, and therefore you'll be able to be as lean as I am. So this video is going to explain, can you gain weight, as in if you want to be muscular and strong but also still lean. Okay, so can you gain muscle, can you be muscular on the low fat, low protein, high sugar diet? So for example, I might recommend fruit and fruit juices and white rice. So these are some of the foods that I recommend, and generally, yes, this is a very low fat, which is good for longevity, and low protein, which is good for longevity. So first of all, just setting out what I recommend for most people to get them healthy in the long term is, yes, foods like this, so high sugar, low fat, low protein, in order to lose weight sustainably and therefore take off the excess fat on your tummy, for example, or on your hips. And I recommend cycling along with this lifestyle, again, for longevity. So it'll help you lose weight. It's amazing for weight loss. It's a low impact sport, so you won't get injured, and it'll increase your VO2, for example. So VO2 is a marker of how efficient your body uses oxygen, essentially. And again, the higher your VO2, so the more efficient your body is for longer into your life, then the more healthy you are. Okay, so these are the things that I recommend for most people who generally they don't do any exercise at all, and they're eating badly to gain weight, and they're becoming unhealthy. So that's the groundwork for why I recommend the lifestyle that I do, and therefore I don't actually, unless someone specifically wants to know, I don't recommend doing gym and lifting weights, because personally I think the most healthy way to live is low protein, low fat, high carb, high sugar, with cycling. So I think this is the ultimate healthy lifestyle for longevity, to live the healthiest life you can. So this is a lifestyle based on health, okay? But I do get asked, because social media, I think, but yeah, usually men, so still can be for women as well. But if you want to gain weight, so lean muscle mass, and perhaps because you want to have that aesthetic look, then I get asked, well, can you actually, I'm getting lean now, I'm losing fat, which is good, you're getting leaner, you're starting to potentially maybe see some definition. I mean, I was 65 kilos this morning, sweaty. I'm saying I don't do any gym, so this is just from cycling, essentially. So I used to do gym a long years ago, and I've done it on and off, just experimenting, and no, I don't recommend it. But if you are going to do gym work and you're going to start lifting weights, then you want to know, can you get big? You want to gain weight, muscle mass and strength through going to the gym, then you need to do it the right way. Okay, so I want to facilitate doing it in the right, healthy way. So first of all, I need to set out the groundwork, because there's a lot of confusion and maybe misunderstanding about the body image now on social media. Okay, so most people that you see on social media who look like the Hulk, basically look like the Hulk, and even women now, they look like the Hulk. It's because they're taking, performance enhancing drugs. Okay, so PEDs, such as testosterone. These are anabolic steroids or anabolic hormones, drugs, to create the physique that you see. So that needs to be the foundation for your understanding. Okay, just so there's no misunderstanding. 99.9%, there are some, but not many, on social media. Most people are taking drugs. Okay, this is just the reality of it. Yeah, it's horrible, it's horrific, but this is the world we live in today, and this is why this channel exists, so that you can improve your health. And say that's why I live by the lifestyle that I promote. Sorry about the noise. So I live the lifestyle that I promote. So I do the food, I eat the food, I eat as much of it as I want, and I do the cycling, and that's why I look the way I look. And I think anyone, okay, can live the lifestyle that I promote, can be as lean, as healthy, and as full of energy, and feel mentally and physically as good as I do. But yes, I understand that if you want to do bodybuilding, yeah, you want to gain muscle and you want to look good, because really at the end of the day, you have to admit you only really want to gain the muscle because it's just for aesthetic reasons. Okay, you want to look good when you go to the beach and take your top off. I understand that. So yeah, so the low protein, low fat, high sugar is good for getting lean and staying lean for, well, once you start, you'll get leaner and leaner, and then essentially depending on how much fat and protein intake you have, you'll stay lean for the rest of your life and you'll be healthy. So now that I've put the groundwork out of the way and you understand the body image, okay, so if you want to take drugs, performance enhancing drugs, if you want to, you can, but okay, I do not, okay, I do not recommend taking drugs. Okay, I recommend living a natural life, and that's in anything. Okay, so I don't recommend any drug use. I recommend just living a normal, healthy, natural life. Okay, whether that's in sport and performance, or just in your day-to-day life. Okay, and again, sorry about the noise. So if you want to gain muscle mass and you want to get big and strong, again, I need to explain again another maybe misunderstanding, okay, between gaining muscle mass and then being strong. Okay, so strength versus muscle mass. So these are two different things. Okay, yes, you will get stronger when you are gaining mass, if you're going and lifting weights, but if you want to just focus on gaining strength, then when you go to the gym, you will have to lift very heavy, because you're targeting strength. So you'll be doing generally lower repetitions and heavier weights, and that's for upper body and for your legs. But if you want to target muscle growth, you want to target more reps, so more repetitions of movement, but lower weights. Okay, so these are two different things. Again, you need to understand. And yes, if you are lifting weights and you're going to the gym, you're going to build strength. But if you specifically want to target strength, it's heavy weights, lower repetitions. And if you want to target muscle growth, it's lower weights and more repetitions. Okay, so and more full range of movement. Whereas if you're going heavier, yeah, you need to really focus on getting your form right, otherwise you'll get injured. So that's why I don't recommend bodybuilding or lifting weights for most people, because I'm concerned that someone who follows my advice, if I said do weights, would injure themselves. Okay, so that's why, first of all, I don't recommend lifting weights for most people. But if you're going to ask me, this is the advice and the recommendations I give so that you understand and you don't injure yourself. Okay, so yes, the lower that you have your protein intake, the less likely you are to build muscle. Okay, so in terms of why that is, the less fat and the less protein you take into your body, generally the less anabolic you will become. So as I say, I've got a series on this channel showing how a low fat, low protein, high carbohydrate lifestyle diet will not cause you to become diabetic, and in fact will reverse diabetes. But the opposite of that is true. So having a high fat, high protein diet will lead you to become diabetic in the long run. So pre-diabetic and then diabetic, because it paralyzes insulin, but you are producing more insulin and you're becoming more anabolic. So it's about becoming anabolic. If you want to gain weight, you want your body to be in a state of being anabolic, whereas a high sugar, low fat, low protein diet is more catabolic, i.e. you're more in a maintenance phase. So you're just in maintenance and you're being lean, whereas anabolic, you're gaining weight. You're in the process of cell growth. Okay, so yes, if you want to see the most gains, the biggest gains, then yes, you'll have to increase your protein intake. So probably day to day, for me, I probably have like maybe 40 or 50 grams, maybe something like that, protein a day. But yeah, the standard Western diet most people on is 100 grams of protein or more. And yeah, I see people, they're eating what I would call the bodybuilder diet, which is high in fat and high in protein, and they're gaining weight like Homer Simpson, and then they're wondering why they're gaining weight. Okay, so yes, if you want to eat like a bodybuilder, which is generally high protein, then that will lead you more to look like that. Okay, so if you are going to increase your protein intake, I would recommend a vegan pea protein. Okay, so vegan pea protein, and you can add that to your fruit smoothies or add that onto your meals. So yes, the answer is yes, you will have to increase your protein intake, and that's just as a consequence of you wanting to shape your body to become bigger. Okay, but again, you need to understand that the more protein intake that you're consuming, the more it has a negative effect on your health. Okay, so to protect your kidney health and kidney function long term, I recommend again a low protein diet. Okay, so you have to understand the lifestyle I'm recommending is not necessarily for looking amazing on the beach and being like wow, everyone's looking at me. It's for health, for longevity, and feeling good. So yes, to manipulate your body to become more muscular, you have to become more anabolic, and you can do that through using drugs, which I don't recommend. And then on top of that, even if you are using drugs, increasing your protein intake. Okay, so not increasing your muscle mass by doing what they call a dirty bulk, I think is what I often quite hear. I'm on a dirty bulk, or I'm on my bulk, and that just means eating lots of calories from fat, which is what I see. Okay, so it's still lots of carbohydrate, and yes, again, increasing fat and protein will increase your weight. Okay, so it's a nuanced approach, it's a nuanced answer, and it needs to be individualized, for the individual, rather than just saying eat this amount of protein or eat this amount of fat. But yes, you can still be muscular on a fairly low protein diet, which I call it, and a low fat. You can still be muscular and still look good, but if you want to look like what people look like on the internet, on social media, you can't get there by eating as low a protein and lower fat as I recommend without using drugs. Okay, and again, I don't recommend drugs. So I hope you understand the video, you enjoy the video, and like and subscribe. So I say they're two different approaches, okay, and they're two different lifestyles, but the main thing is it's vegan and it's always high sugar, okay, and the healthiest way to live is high sugar, low fat, low protein. But yes, the more anabolic you want to become, and therefore the more muscular you want to become, the more protein you need, okay. And again, it takes, just like weight loss takes months and years, and then you like that for the rest of your life if you stay eating like that way. Just like gaining muscle, excuse me, it takes years of doing 4, 5, 6 times a week, going to the gym and lifting weights. It takes years. If you're starting today, I would say you probably wouldn't, depending if you just, average genetics, we're all supposedly average. If you're just average, you probably won't really notice. There'll be maybe a quick change in the first few months, but then after that, the rate at which you'll gain muscle will be very, very slow, okay? If you're doing it naturally, it would take you maybe 1.5 years to 2 years at least from now before you start to really notice a difference, and probably a decade from now you would be probably happy with what you'd look like. And yeah, if you use drugs, steroids, it accelerates the process, but it's not worth it, okay? I don't think, just for aesthetics, I think it's more important that you feel good and are healthy rather than worrying about what other people think of you. So yeah, gaining muscle and looking the way you do, really, you're doing it to impress other people. And yeah, for me, maybe when I was very young, maybe 17 or 18, I really did enjoy that. Sorry about the noise. But now, that I had time to reflect on that, I think you should think about yourself, your own health first. But that's just my advice. And then again, for strength, these are two different things. Gaining muscle mass versus being strong. If you want to be strong, you need to lift heavy weights, which increases the risk, the chance of, and I've seen it, someone, snapping their pec muscle here, or, snapping, pulling or tearing a ligament and tendon. So yeah, I would recommend, if you want to go for aesthetics, to look good, then just lift the weights, but lift them lighter, so that you can maybe do, for example, 15 repetitions, and you're not going to failure in terms of, lifting a weight and then it dropping on you. You're never going to failure, because again, I think that increases the risk too much. So you should always think about longevity. Can I do this for years and years from now, and do it without failing and getting injured? So I hope you enjoyed the video and it gave you insight. The key takeaways are that what you see on social media is not real. Strength and muscle mass, they're two different things. Yes, you can gain muscle on a low fat, low protein, high sugar approach, but if you want to gain the most, then yes, you will have to increase your protein and fat intake. And the greatest increase you'll see is from using drugs, which I don't recommend. Okay. So yeah, if you're set on wanting to go down the path of doing the gym and doing the gym life, then yes, do it vegan, always high sugar, and I would recommend, protein, vegan protein powder. And yeah, you're probably going to be looking to consume 100 grams or more of protein, which for longevity, to protect, primarily I would say, to protect your kidney health long term, I wouldn't go over 100 grams of protein a day, and really I wouldn't go over more than 70 really. But it's up to you. You can do whatever you want with your life, but the primary focus is, do you feel good every day? Are you losing fat? And are you gaining lean muscle? Okay, so I'm lean and I have some muscle. And yeah, you have to understand that some people respond better than others. Okay, so if you have the receptors in your muscles, in your body, that responds to becoming anabolic, then you will gain muscle. Okay, so there's more receptors in the upper body than versus your lower body. So generally, in men, that's why you see the upper body becoming so big, and the legs seemingly, it looks strange, doesn't it? It looks like the joke, have you skipped leg day? Well, it's just because of the receptors. Some people don't have the receptors, so even if they're doing the drugs and protein intake and going to the gym, they can never grow their legs. Okay, so they have little skinny calves and legs because better wrap the video up, it started raining. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, then leave them in the comment section below. And if you want a personalized meal plan, so that you're not just guessing, and you want some help and support, and you want to have a one-to-one, then get in touch on the email in the description, and we can work together to put together a meal plan for you, personalized for your life and on the goals that you want to achieve. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Sorry about the noise. This is what we do in the Western world. We make lots of noise on the weekend. Anyway, see you in the next one. Ciao.